Hello, my name is Ife Fisher, and today I'm going to be talking about why animal testing is no longer necessary. I would first like to start off with a quote by George Bernard Shaw, who was a playwright and an active member in the American Anti-Vivisection Society. Shaw once stated that the worst sins towards fellow animals is not to hate them, but to be indifferent towards them. That is the essence of humanity. Basically, what he meant by this is that we need to be able to put ourselves in others or animal shoes and make sure that we are treating them how we would like to be treated. Because if the roles were reversed, we wouldn't like it. Now, picture an animal that is loved by you in your mind. It could be a household pet like a cat, dog, parrot, any animal. Now, picture that same animal being starved, burned, asphyxiated, which is choked, or decapitated. Thankfully, those images are just in your head, but for some animals, this is their daily reality. This is the cruel reality of animal testing. I've conducted in-depth research on the pros, cons, overall effectiveness, and the ethicality of animal testing, and I've come to the conclusion that animals are going through a number of morbid and horrific experiences that are no longer necessary for them to be going through because advances in science has made that possible. First, I would like to explain why animal testing was deemed necessary in the first place, but why it is no longer sensible. Then, I will explain the horrors that these animals go through in order to test humans' products that aren't even needed by animals. And lastly, I will provide examples of how a movement can be started and end these inhumane experiences. So first, I would like to talk about why animal testing is needed but no longer necessary. At the start of this movement, researchers and scientists needed a living testing subject that was closest to the anatomy of the human body. This was needed because you can't test a plant or flower or rocks in order to get close to accurate results to how these products will react in the human body, which is why they turned to other mammals just like us. Another reason was why they needed advanced scientific understanding. Again, this is why you can't use anything like plants in order to conduct these certain experiences, because you need something that's closest to the anatomy of the human body. Another reason is that animals share many of the same illnesses as humans do, and they can act as models to show how those illnesses affect our body. For example, rabbits can also get emphysema, which is difficulty breathing. The scientists and researchers can see how the emphysema affects the rabbit's body and maybe get a possible idea of how that can affect the human body and what treatments can be used to make that better in a human body. Next, I will tell you why animal testing is no longer needed and is not necessary anymore. As research has progressed, it was discovered that the overall anatomical differences between animals and humans is too great, and it makes these animals poor test subjects. That means that what might affect a rabbit or a dog and make them sick might not make us sick, or what might not affect a rabbit or a dog might not make them sick, but it will make us sick. Another reason is that certain treatments or medications can be proven harmful to animals but may be beneficial to humans, and vice versa. This is more than sometimes overlooked, because if they see that a medication or treatment has extremely damaged or scarred an animal, they won't go ahead. Humans, and what could work on them could not work on us, but what doesn't work on them could work on us. And again, this just causes more animals to be used and more time to be wasted. Another reason is that animal testing cannot predict dependable results. According to neurologist Aisha Akatar, who is a medical doctor, over 100 stroke drugs, which is just any drugs of any sort, that were effective when tested on animals have actually failed when tested on humans. So all those animals died for no reason for a drug that didn't even work on humans. And vice versa, that could also happen where it does or it does not work on animals, but it could work on humans. Either way it could happen. Whatever the case may be, it is just not dependable results. And next, I'll be showing you some pictures of what I am about to talk about next. Now I'm going to talk about why animal testing is no longer necessary and why animal testing is no longer necessary. Animals can be subjected to force feeding, water deprivation, or starvation in order for researchers to study the effects it could have on the body. Imagine seeing your dog, cat, or any type of animal. They use dogs, cats, rabbits, guinea pigs, mammals, and keep them in cages and forcefully strap their bodies down in order to conduct these experiments. Other things could happen, like burns and physical restraining, and neck breaking is also inflicted so that researchers can study the healing process. For instance, if our bodies get burned or we break a bone, there's a process that the body naturally goes through that helps heal the body. But these researchers and scientists are actually doing these to animals and watching how that happens, killing these animals, burning them, suffocating them, force feeding them, starving them, doing everything they can just to see what can happen in a human body, but that no longer needs to happen. For example, they came out with in vitro testing. In vitro means in a test tube. So you can use different medications and treatments and put it in a test tube and see how that reacts by taking human cells and allowing that to give you the desired results that you want from animals, and that will actually give you more dependable and reliable results than testing on an animal. Another thing is microdosing that could be done in humans. Microdosing is when you give a small amount of, this is just an example for like treatments and medications, is when you give a small amount of a treatment or medication into the human body, and that way you can see the minor effects of what it can do without bringing it to the point of death and without using animals. According to the article on procon.org, in the day's eye test used by cosmetic companies to study irritants in like their shampoos or mascara, there was one experiment conducted where they used rabbits, and they physically restrained these rabbits and held their eyelids open for days while they poured the product into their eyes to see the effect of them. The reason why their eyelids were held open was so they couldn't blink away the product, and the scientists were able to study what happened. After all this is done, the animals are disposed of and killed by use of decapitation, carbon dioxide asphyxiation, lethal dose injections, and many other horrific means. Lastly, I would like to talk about how people can get involved in this manner and start the movement of stopping animal testing for good. So first, as consumers, we can all start buying cruelty-free products. Examples of some cruelty-free products are Maybelline makeup products for females or males, Tide laundry products, Febreze household items, or Pampers diapers. That is among one of the many different options you have when you want to buy cruelty-free options, and it won't put a damper on your life or stop you from buying your favorite thing. A lot of these companies sell a lot of stuff that we use in our everyday lives. We just have to be mindful of what we're buying. A second option would be to fight classroom dissection if possible. Many students in science classes or science majors like me, we have done a lot of dissections. I have done 2 dissections that involved a fetal pig and a stillborn cat. Luckily, those animals were already dead or came out the womb dead. They weren't forcefully killed, but many animals that are used for these projects or dissections, they are, and that needs to stop as well. So even if you have to do it for a grade, do it, but try and advocate for other subjects to be used, or stillborn or already dead animals. A third way would be to donate. Please donate against any companies that are for using animals for testing subjects. A great company to donate to would be PETA, because they work hard every single day to help make sure that animals are treated just how we would like to be treated. So now you know the essence of what animal testing is, what it can consist of, and how to try and help and eradicate the problem completely. Since advances have come out to make animal testing unnecessary, it is important that people become aware of this and help innocent lives be saved, and I encourage everyone to educate other people about this issue. Remember that those could be your animals locked up in those cages.